I'm a little torn about how to talk about this story. To be honest, um, I've never been a fan of coming out and just attacking police shootings. You always hear people, mouthing off, talking about things they don't really understand, saying that the police are just shooting people, have just shot someone just kind of for the fun of it, or as if that's what they go out and do, or trying to. Or, I don't know how many times I've heard people say, why can't they just shoot them in the leg? Why can't they just do that? And obviously that's not the way you're trained. It's not easy to shoot someone in the leg. I don't People obviously don't understand guns and how to shoot, how to operate guns. Uh anyway, and obviously you're trained. Everyone is trained for shooting that mass. You don't go trying to shoot someone in the kneecaps. Don't believe the movies. However, in saying that, so I don't like criticizing police like that when it comes to shootings, because every situation is different. Obviously, it's always a difficult decision. A lot of the time, you're making these decisions when it's just a split second decision. You know. Anyway, let's have a look at this. I'll read the article that comes out from the Guardian. It says Queensland police say there is no footage of shooting death of Indigenous man. Now, first thing, I just find it absolutely crazy that there is no footage. Now, the Queensland government had, they had said that there would be body-worn cameras for all frontline police, frontline officers. Okay. I don't. There was talk years ago. I remember I spoke to officers, and talked about officers were talking about their need, specialist officers talking about their need to wear body worn cameras. Obviously they didn't want to, but the thing is, you could see years ago this was going to be a problem, and when I talk about QPS and their leadership, their lack of leadership, and they're just managing situations. To me, this just highlights that mindset of just managing a situation. You could see, if a numpty like me could see that there's going to be issues with these officers not wearing body-worn cameras to be able to help justify their actions, well, surely the leadership could see it, but they don't want, they're not proactive. They've never been proactive. They talk about proactive, but they don't really want to be proactive. They just want to be seen. And this article highlights how, they just want to be seen as being proactive, but they could have been proactive years ago. Anyway, so Queensland police say there's no body-worn camera footage captured the moment an Aboriginal man was fatally shot, despite more than 15 officers being present, which is mind-boggling. Family members of Aubrey Donahue, who's 27, say he was unarmed, holding a mobile phone and attempting to surrender to police when he was shot 4 times by tactical officers in the North Queensland town of Mareeba. So that's just what the family says, okay? So obviously a great amount of bias coming from the family. It's not to say they're not right. I'm just saying, got to look at things on an even keel. So police have alleged Donahue advanced at police while holding a knife. Now, immediately, if you advance at a police officer and you're holding a knife, that police officer can easily justify pulling his gun, pointing it at you. And if you're going to keep advancing, very easy. He is justified from then on. It's basically, yep. Donahue's family had been calling for the release of body-worn camera footage they hoped would show clearly what had happened on Saturday afternoon. It is understood more than 15 officers, including from the Special Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, were present at the Mareeba address when Donahue was shot. The Queensland government had said last year every officer would be equipped with a camera. It's not exactly right. What they said was every frontline officer. So on Tuesday, the Queensland Police Service said that there was no footage showing the moment of the shooting. I still think that's crazy. Anyway, Queensland Police can confirm there is no body-worn camera vision available of the actual shooting of the male by police, the statement said. All other available body-worn camera will be reviewed as part of the investigation. So Acting Superintendent Kevin Gowan, a senior Queensland police officer, had earlier told Donohue's mother, his name is Desley Ketchup, that the body-worn camera footage that had been taken had been handed over to investigating police. So a video posted to Facebook shows Gone speaking with Ketchup and others about 4 hours after the incident. All the video, body-worn camera stuff that was taken, that has all been downloaded through independent senior detectives from Cairns, who come up and make sure that it is all available to go to the coroner, Gone said. Just one thing, when they talk about independent senior detectives, yeah, I know they call them independent, but the issue is they are still Queensland police officers. And I'm not saying that they can't be independent and they can't investigate these things properly, but we call them independent, but they're Queensland police officers. So a person asked Gowan if police were hiding stuff. He said that they can't, they are tamper-proof, they cannot be interfered with. The coroner will know that if anyone tried to, it would be discovered. It would be discovered. That has all been seized by police. So that's what I'm saying. So, he says here they have all been seized. All this footage has been seized by police. So, but beforehand they call them independent senior detectives. They're just from a different outfit, basically. So concern about Donohue's death in Mareeba has resulted in angry Black Lives Matter protests. Just for the record, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is a load of rubbish. Personally, I believe it's demonic. The whole thing that started in America is just rubbish. Okay, Black Lives Matter, obviously, but all lives matter. Doesn't matter what pigment in your skin is. Anyway, and calls for an independent investigation into the circumstances. Ketchup told reporters at a protest on Monday that Donohue's family had been kept in the dark by police. She says, I want answers from the person who shot him, who had no fear of putting a gun on him 4 times, she said. I want answers why my son is dead from bullet holes. I just want the truth to come out. So families say their anger has been compounded by an information vacuum. In a statement immediately after Donohue was shot, police said it is alleged the man advanced on specialist officers while armed with a knife. So that's what they're saying. He's advanced. He's got a knife in his hand. He's walking, advancing towards specialist officers. I think there's a big difference between advancing on specialist, on cert, than, if you're advancing on general duties officers. There's a world of difference between general duties officers and the equipment that is available to them, and cert officers, their training and the equipment available to them. There's a world of difference. So that's what it's alleged. He advanced on specialist officers. The president of the police union, Ian Levers, subsequently told the Courier Mail that police only acted when it was clear that the life of an innocent hostage was in jeopardy. I've got to say, this statement here from Levers doesn't help the cause. It just kind of muddies the waters, because then you're thinking, okay, so they shot him because there was a female, and it kind of, if you're just reading these two statements, you're thinking, oh, so what is it? Was a female's life at risk? And, you have visions of police bursting through the door, shooting, and, she's about to be killed, or she's got a knife to the throat or something like that. Or was the female nowhere in sight, maybe inside the house screaming, he's come out with the knife and advancing towards the police? Levers, and I'll be honest, I've got no respect for the man. Sometimes he needs to be quiet. So Guardian Australia asked police on Tuesday about the justification for lethal force and whether the man had allegedly posed a threat to officers or to a woman who was at the property. And that is a big question. It's a big difference whether, the threat is to the officers, to the cert officers, not to general duties, Was he a threat to the CERT officers because it says that he was advancing on the specialist officers, or was he a threat to the woman and they were trying to save her life? Big difference. Police said the matter remained under investigation, but that preliminary investigations indicated a female person was screaming for help, causing the police to immediately respond, and the man presented a knife in close proximity to officers, resulting in the man being shot by specialist police. Then goes on to say, inherent in any police interaction with the community is the underlying risk that a situation may be immediately volatile, or rapidly escalate to a violent confrontation to which the officer must quickly respond. Okay. Inherent in any police interaction with the community is the underlying risk that a situation may be immediately volatile. But here we have Queensland Police saying, painting this picture like the situation possibly became immediately volatile, rapidly escalate, violent confrontation. Ian Levers gets on there and says they only acted when it was clear that the life of an innocent hostage was in jeopardy, which kind of paints the picture again that, a knife to the throat, or the man was standing over her and, she was immediately going to be killed. But then police are saying, well, the man presented a knife in close proximity to officers, resulting in the man being shot by specialist police. All I would like to know from this shooting is, one, why are Queensland Police, the leadership, they're trying to pretend now that they're being proactive and that they will bring in, they will review their processes for body-worn cameras for specialist officers like CERT. Realistically, they knew this was going to be a problem years ago. They've been trying to brush it under the carpet. They should have brought it in years ago, but the CERT officers themselves have been pushing back and don't want it. But it should have happened. It should have happened. Secondly, when does it change from being justified to use lethal force because your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger? When does it go from being justified to using lethal force because you can justify it? That's the question you got to ask. That's the question they need to be asking themselves. Am I using this process? Did we shoot someone because we can justify it? Because, there's a big difference if I'm walking in there and I've got guns, shields, body armor, and someone walks out with a little kitchen knife. But hey, from my experience of working in Cairns, it's just an Indigenous man that got shot. That's about all that'll be asked.